A young woman vanishes without a trace, leaving behind every possession she owned. The highway where she disappeared hums with 3,000 passing vehicles daily, yet no one saw a thing. And when authorities finally broke their silence, they revealed their own investigation had gone terribly wrong. What secret lies behind a girl leaving everything behind on a highway that never forgets? These haunting details transforms Courtney Struble's case from a simple missing persons report into something far more unsettling. The pieces don't fit, the timeline makes no sense, and the truth seems to slip further away with each passing year. Join me for another strange, odd, and mysterious story here at Odd Mystery Stories. July 9, 2004 started like any ordinary summer night for 13-year-old Courtney Struble. She was spending time with two friends at their parents' veterinary clinic on the outskirts of Estevan. The hum of crickets filled the air as they watched a movie, a kind of casual hangout that felt normal for kids her age. But when the credits rolled around midnight, Courtney made an uncharacteristic decision. She turned down a ride home and chose to walk home alone. Highway 39 stretched before her, a route that would have taken her toward Woodlawn Avenue. Those who knew Courtney described her as the kind of girl who double-checked her bike helmet straps and texted her parents if she was 5 minutes late. Walking home alone after midnight along a deserted highway didn't fit. Like finding a single puzzle piece from the wrong box. Morning revealed something chilling. Courtney's room looked frozen in time. Her favorite stuffed rabbit still propped on the pillow. Wallet untouched on the dresser. Even her last paycheck uncollected from work. Her grandmother, Marlene, put it bluntly, quote, "She never went anywhere without packing her things. It's like she disappeared off the face of the earth." Estevan police initially called it a runaway, but Courtney's family knew better. This was the girl who reminded her mom to lock doors at night, who kept meticulous plans in her sparkly notebook. She wouldn't abandon her cleaning job or miss hanging out with her friends. Picture the scene, a ribbon of highway under moonlight, a careful girl making one reckless choice. Hours slipped by until dawn exposed the truth, her toothbrush dry, her jewelry box full. By the time police filed the report, the runaway theory was already crumbling. The Strubles kept circling back to the same question. Why would she leave behind everything that mattered to her? The answer whispered through that untouched bedroom. She wouldn't have. Not unless something forced her hand. And that's why, over 2 decades later, the highway still holds its breath when headlights pass. The stretch of Highway 39 where Courtney disappeared was a perfect setup for trouble, a labyrinth where danger hid in every curve. In 2004, this major trucking route saw a constant stream of semis hauling goods across the border, enough traffic to fill a parking lot every hour. At night, flickering street lamps barely banished the deep shadows between long stretches of darkness. Narrow shoulders left no room to escape the rumble of engines as trucks shook the ground, their drivers often oblivious to anything beyond their headlights' reach. The road itself was a hunter's dream. Sharp curves and sudden dips created blind spots where trees swallowed the pavement whole. A person could vanish here in seconds. Stepping just a few feet off-road meant disappearing from view entirely. North led to the endless farmland, south to the U.S. border, east and west into vast prairie. Anyone with bad intentions could disappear into the night, dragging a victim with them. Estevan's cross-border shipping hub meant unfamiliar truckers passed through at all hours, stopping at gas stations or makeshift pull-offs. The constant flow of strangers made tracking impossible. While violent incidents were rare, assaults had occurred near Courtney's last known location. Drunken brawls, late-night confrontations, enough to mark this as unsafe after dark. Midnight on a summer night meant shift changes, bar closings, and truckers rerouting. Locals might recognize each other, but not the transient drivers. A car pulling over, a stranger offering a ride. It could have happened in seconds. No scream, no struggles. Just a girl swallowed in the dark. Police later reconstructed how easily it might have unfolded. A grab near one of the unlit sections. A quick diversion into a remote side road. By dawn, she could have been anywhere. The Struble family knew immediately. Courtney would never willingly take such risks, but investigators treated it as a routine missing persons case. By the time they grasped the highway's deadly design, evidence might have been trampled by truckers or washed away by the rain. Imagine, 3,000 vehicles daily. How many passed the exact spot where she vanished? How many saw something? A flicker of movement, a shadow, without realizing its significance. The road's very design ensured answers would slip away like tail lights fading into the distance. Missing teens cases in small towns often follow a pattern. Police start with the assumption the kid ran away. Estevan in 2004 was no different. When 13-year-old Courtney Struble vanished, officers immediately treated it as a runaway situation. Standard procedure. But this wasn't standard. While protocol painted the picture of a typical runaway, the Strubles knew their daughter too well to fit that mold. Courtney left behind everything, her wallet, clothes, even the stuffed animal she slept with every night. Her grandmother put it bluntly, quote, "She never went anywhere without packing her things. Runaways take money and sentimental items. Courtney took nothing." The police followed protocol, checking with friends and looking for signs she'd left on her own. But the facts didn't add up. Real runaways leave clues, used bank accounts, contacted friends, packed belongings. Courtney's accounts stayed untouched. Her health card was never used again. Teens who bolt usually have reasons. Family conflict, trouble at school. Courtney had plans. She was excited about an upcoming birthday party and was supposed to pick up her first paycheck from a new cleaning job. This wasn't someone looking to disappear. The family pushed back hard. Courtney avoided risks. Walking alone on a highway at midnight wasn't something she'd do. Yet, police took days to reconsider. Meanwhile, critical evidence slipped away. Witness memories faded. Security camera footage looped. The first 48 hours, the most important in any missing persons case, were spent looking in the wrong direction. What finally changed their minds? The timeline didn't add up. No one who knew Courtney believed she would leave like this. Coworkers, friends, even casual acquaintances all said the same thing. This wasn't her. The RCMP eventually reclassified the case as a homicide. That decision meant they believed Courtney didn't leave willingly. The runaway theory had collapsed under its own weight. Think about what that delay cost. If the police had treated this as a potential abduction from the start, could they have sealed off areas sooner, interviewed more drivers? The answer is maybe, but maybe doesn't bring someone home. Studies show most teen runaways are older with histories of conflict. Courtney was 13. She left no note, didn't even take a jacket. One detail that haunts the most, her abandoned stuffed animals. Runaways don't leave the things they sleep with every night, not unless they aren't making the choice to leave at all. The police later admitted mistakes. By the time they focused on foul play, the trail had gone cold. The truth was there from the beginning. A kid doesn't vanish without taking anything unless something forced the issue. Now ask yourself, if the runaway theory had been dismissed sooner, would there have been answers instead of questions? The family believes so. Every delay was another brick in the wall that still stands between them and the truth. The RCMP's conclusion was clear. This wasn't a voluntary disappearance. It never had been. By then, the damage was done. The case had already gone cold. From the moment Courtney vanished, her father, Mark Struble, clashed with investigators. He said, quote, "She wouldn't just leave," he insisted during that first police interview, leaning forward in his chair. Officers shrugged off his urgency, suggesting she'd return for school registration. Their casual response made his hands clench. They weren't hearing him. As weeks passed without leads, Mark's distrust hardened. He watched detectives chase false sightings while ignoring facts that mattered. No withdrawals from Courtney's bank account. No packed bags. No goodbye note. She was cautious, he'd tell them, his voice tight. This wasn't her. But the runaway theory stuck. Then came the undercover sting. Years into the investigation, an RCMP operative befriended Mark and his partner Melissa, gangsta style. Mark later described the confrontation, how the woman turned aggressive, flanked by others demanding answers they didn't have. The message was clear. Police wanted a confession, even a false one. Ask yourself why. No evidence tied Mark to Highway 39 that night. No witnesses, just statistics about fathers harming children. The operation backfired, cementing Mark's belief that the police were fixated on the wrong man. What's chilling is how little this tactic connected to Courtney's disappearance. While detectives played mind games, potential leads faded. Truck stop logs, gas station footage, drivers' memories, those possibilities never got the same attention. Mark's frustration stems from missed opportunities. Had police treated this as an abduction from day one, they would have had secured surveillance footage before it was recorded over. Interviewed every trucker in Estevan. The runaway theory was just wrong. It meant no Amber Alert, no crime scene tape on Highway 39. 20 years later, Mark still waits. He's answered the same questions, faced the same suspicions. The undercover operation shattered his trust. The early missteps made justice slip further away. Imagine living with this. Your child vanishes, police dismiss you. They chase dead ends and then target you instead of the real culprit. Courtney's untouched belongings proved Mark's innocence. Her wallet, her stuffed animals, her empty bank account. By the time police looked elsewhere, the trail had gone cold. Now Mark carries that weight, knowing someone out there remembers what happened that night, knowing time was wasted. His hope is now stubborn, quiet. After 2 decades, the truth might still surface, that someone will finally speak. From the start, the media coverage of Courtney Struble's disappearance created more questions than answers. In small towns like Estevan in 2004, missing persons cases often relied on local journalists scrambling to piece together information from scattered police updates and hearsay. The result? A maze of misreported facts that still haunt the case today. One of the most damaging inconsistencies involved the direction Courtney was traveling when she vanished. Early reports claimed she disappeared while walking to her friend's house, implying she never arrived. Officials later confirmed she had made it there, watched movies, and left for home. But the wrong version spread, diverting attention from her actual route. The timeline was equally confused. Reports conflicted on whether she left her friend's place around 11 p.m. or closer to midnight, an hour that made all the difference. In a missing persons case, minutes matter. Memories fade, security footage loops, and witnesses drift away. The discrepancy over when Courtney stepped onto Highway 39 made it impossible to pinpoint who might have seen her, or who didn't belong there. These errors shaped public perception from the beginning. Someone who read she vanished before reaching her friend's house might dismiss later sightings. A witness recalling an 11 p.m. departure could miss connecting their midnight observation. The Struble family couldn't correct these mistakes in real time. By the time clearer details emerged, tips based on bad information had already flooded police lines, and resources were wasted chasing false leads. Consider a truck driver passing through Estevan that night. Months later, conflicting reports might make them overlook a crucial sighting, or worse, call in a false lead based on the wrong timeline. That's how easily misinformation derails an investigation. Some errors never get corrected. Outdated articles still circulate online, repeating inaccuracies that skew memories and send armchair detectives down dead ends. In a cold case, public awareness relies on accurate details. Yet, half the story was wrong from the start. The fallout wasn't just investigative. Every contradictory headline forced the Strubles to relive their worst night, each version twisting the story further from the truth. Imagine seeing your daughter's case mangled for clicks, knowing those mistakes might have cost answers. This isn't unique to Courtney's case. It happens whenever a missing person's story breaks. Details twist, timelines blur, and the damage becomes irreversible. For the Strubles, that damage lingers. Over 2 decades later, they're still untangling the same myths, still fighting for the truth in a case where the story itself became an obstacle. By 2014, 10 years had passed since Courtney Struble vanished. New technology rekindled hope that summer as the RCMP deployed drones and ground-penetrating radar along the Souris River. 4 officers scoured the terrain where the river's winding path cut through tall grasses, methodically covering ground that older searches might have missed. The drones provided aerial views while the radar scanned beneath the surface, an attempt to bridge what 2004's technology couldn't find. Investigators had specific reasons to focus on the Souris River, though they kept details confidential. The natural flow of waterways could carry evidence over time, and the terrain's open stretches made it suitable for technological searches. But these tools had limits. Ground-penetrating radar detects soil disturbances, but deep burials might evade its signal. Drones cover ground quickly, yet can't penetrate thick brush or moving water. Nothing was found. That's the reality of most cold case searches. Hope surfaces with new methods, only to fade when technology meets its limits. Time erodes evidence. Landscapes shift. What might have been detectable in 2004 could vanish by 2014. Yet, the RCMP persisted. In 2022, they launched Project Home, placing Courtney's face on digital billboards across Saskatchewan. Social media amplified her story to new audiences. The goal was simple: spark memories, trigger tips. No arrests followed, but in cold cases, visibility matters. Someone might still remember. Estevan has changed since 2004. The highway where Courtney disappeared now has better lighting and wider shoulders. New buildings stand where empty lots once were. For longtime residents, her absence lingers. The search parties, the posters, the unshaken feeling that someone knows more. The hardest part isn't the empty searches. It's the shrinking odds with each passing year. Technology improves, but evidence degrades. Witnesses disappear. Still, the RCMP keeps trying, shifting strategies, running ads, revisiting leads. It's about proving no case is truly dead while someone still cares. Imagine standing by the Souris River during the 2014 search. Drones humming overhead, radios crackling between officers. The quiet determination of people searching despite the odds. That tension defines cold cases. Hope wrestling with reality. The river flows unchanged. The highway still cuts through town, but Courtney isn't there, and the truth remains missing. Technology can only do so much. The rest depends on people. Someone remembering. Someone finally speaking. Until then, the search continues. The billboards stay up, and the question endures. Where is Courtney Struble? Joy Struble walked into the radio station that morning with no answers, only questions. Radio host Lyle McGillivray still remembers her trembling hands, the way her voice cracked between sentences. How do you console a mother whose child vanished overnight? The studio was silent except for the hum of equipment and Joy's ragged breathing as she begged for help finding Courtney. There was no script for that kind of conversation. McGillivray called it one of the hardest interviews he'd ever done, not because of technical difficulties, but because he had nothing to give her. No hope, no comfort, just dead air where answers should have been. That moment set the tone for the next 2 decades. Joy became the voice of a family trapped in limbo, not quite mourning, not quite hoping. She described the loss like losing a limb. The phantom pain never fades. Every morning, the same shock. Courtney isn't here. Every night, the same questions. Parents aren't supposed to spend years wondering if their child might still be out there somewhere. This was a fight. Joy pushed back against assumptions from day one. She knew Courtney wouldn't abandon her stuffed animals or vanish without a note, but convincing authorities took time that might have cost them leads. While police worked off theories, Joy retraced steps, demanded searches. Her persistence changed protocols. Law enforcement started listening sooner when families said, "This isn't right." But for Joy, those changes came far too late. The toll is visible in her voice. In 2014, describing the morning Courtney disappeared, the terror wasn't faded by time. It was fresh, like it happened yesterday. Unresolved loss freezes you in that first moment of panic. Every anniversary, every false lead rips the wound open again. Yet the family keeps going. Joy believes someone knows what happened. Maybe guilt keeps them quiet. Maybe fear. But secrets surface, and the Strubles hold on to that. They've seen cold cases crack open after decades. Technology keeps improving. They wait because time might finally bring answers. The RCMP still gets tips. Every July, someone remembers something new. They've chased hundreds of leads, reviewed countless people, but without a body, there's only so much they can do. They need that one break, the call that connects a name to a face. Until then, they wait too. Imagine waking every morning wondering if today is the day someone finally talks. The Strubles don't have to imagine. Joy's voice on that radio interview was the first of thousands of unanswered questions. Every public reminder underscores that Courtney's case isn't a file number. It's a family's life suspended in uncertainty. McGillivray still thinks about that interview. No producer could script that pain. The question isn't whether the family will heal. It's whether they'll ever get the truth. Over 2 decades later, that's all they want. Not closure, just answers. Someone out there has them. The only thing left is waiting. Over 2 decades later, the RCMP's Historical Case Unit still pursues Courtney Struble's disappearance as an active homicide investigation. They work with the Estevan police, chasing leads that grow colder with each passing season. Evidence fades. Witnesses disappear. But they keep searching because the alternative, a girl vanishing without answers, is unacceptable. The challenges are stark. In 2004, investigators lacked today's forensic tools. DNA analysis was slower. Surveillance footage was grainy and often erased. The initial investigation relied on manpower, knocking on doors, plastering posters. Now, technology offers new hope, but with limits. Ground-penetrating radar can't magically locate a body without knowing where to look. Drones can't see through dense brush. The RCMP's 2014 river search proved that. Sophisticated tools scoured the Souris River, but found nothing. Project Home represents a shift. In 2022, the RCMP flooded 5 Saskatchewan communities with digital billboards featuring Courtney's face. Social media pushed her name to younger audiences who'd never heard of the case. This isn't 2004's playbook. It leverages algorithms to reach people who might have missed the case the first time. A trucker who passed through Estevan in 2004 might see Courtney's photo now and remember something. The RCMP believes Courtney's body is still in the Estevan area. Someone local likely knows where. Time makes people complacent, but relentless visibility shakes loose secrets. The break can come from a deathbed confession or a DNA match to overlooked evidence. Early missteps haunt the case. Treating Courtney as a runaway first wasted critical hours. Officers didn't secure potential crime scenes along Highway 39 immediately. By the time they shifted focus, rain had washed away tire tracks, security tapes had looped. Estevan Police Chief Rich Lowen recalls this case was personal for the community. Small towns remember. Someone knows more than they've said. The RCMP operates on that belief that even over 2 decades later, the right question could unravel everything. The case lives in paradox. Technology improves, but evidence decays. Public interest wanes, but digital campaigns like this video revive it. The RCMP waits for that one person to come forward, not with a bombshell, but with a fragment of truth. A detail that seemed irrelevant in 2004 might connect dots now. Courtney's case won't be solved by drones or billboards alone. It'll be solved when someone decides 20-plus years of silence is long enough. The family waits. Estevan waits. The question remains, who saw Courtney Struble last, and why won't they say? The empty prairie around Estevan still holds secrets in its ditches and fields, silent witnesses to what happened that night. Over 2 decades later, this case stays open because someone refuses to talk. The RCMP's historical case unit follows every lead, but they need that one person to break the silence. If you know anything, a rumor, a passing detail, it matters. Call Saskatchewan Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. No tip is too small. The Struble family waits for answers, their questions echoing across the prairie like the wind. Who saw Courtney Struble that night? The truth is still out there. Hey, thanks for staying with me through another odd mystery. My name is Vince. If you enjoyed this story and want to help keep the channel going, consider buying me a coffee or joining the Patreon crew. Even a few bucks goes a long way toward uncovering more strange, odd, and unsolved cases. Patreon members get special recognition for subscribing. Some even see the research notes on what's coming next. And more, members even help pick the next case. You'll find the links to my Patreon in the description. Thanks again for watching. Stay curious and stay safe. Thank you.